everyone, I haven't been around for a while. It was spring break and I wasn't driving. So although today is Monday and I normally do book reviews on Monday, I'm not going to do a book review today. Instead, I'm going to do a rant. I had meant to do this rant on Friday, but then I didn't end up driving to the place I thought I was going to drive to, and so it didn't happen, but I kind of want it to happen now. So instead of a book review today, it's going to be a rant. You might recall, because I mentioned it a couple of times the last week that I vlogged, that I was in the pit for the show Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. You may also recall the last vlog that I made was on the Friday of the closing weekend of that show. That show originally had 5 performances, and each of them was to sold-out audiences. In addition, there was a waiting list about 3 pages long of people who had called in for tickets. Enough, in other words, for the Mansfield Playhouse to sell out another show. So they decided to extend the performance a 3rd weekend. So last weekend I played for 2 more performances of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. And you might think that given my dislike for Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella that I would be upset about this, but in fact, I was not. I was very happy about this, not because I got to play another 2 performances of the wonderful Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, but because the Mansfield Playhouse's youth theater production got a chance to show up the main stage productions. Mansfield Playhouse produces 3 different types of shows during a season. There are the main stage productions, which make up the bulk of their content. There are the second stage productions, which are dinner theater shows of dubious quality. And there are the youth theater productions. The person who directs the youth theater productions is an incomparably wonderful director. And the kids who come and try out are really, really good actors. Some of them are even better than the people in the main stage productions. Youth theater productions have consistently sold out or nearly sold out houses. A lot of the main stage productions are lucky to get 50 people in the house. As a result, the youth theater brings in a lot more money. And so it has now gotten to the point where the Mansfield Playhouse would not exist without the youth theater productions. And so why is this a cause for ranting, you might ask? Because despite the fact that the youth theater productions are basically keeping the Mansfield Playhouse alive, the people who run the Mansfield Playhouse continually do not recognize them. They consider it second-class theater. They think, well, they're just kids. They think it's great that they're bringing in tons of money for the Playhouse, but they do not recognize the youth theater productions as the top-quality theater productions that they are. And the fact that Cinderella ran an extra weekend and Gilligan's Island the musical is probably barely going to pay for itself means nothing to them. And the Mansfield Playhouse's youth productions are branching out. The lady who has been directing these shows has started putting on shows outside of the Playhouse. She has started Mansfield Youth Theater, which is distinct from the Mansfield Playhouse Theater. In addition, it is partially thanks to the Mansfield Playhouse youth productions that there is now an OCTA Junior. OCTA, for those of you who don't know, is the Ohio Community Theater Association. If you're in a community production that's really, really good, then you might go to a contest hosted by OCTA. And it used to be that there was just one contest for all community theater. But it was partially because the Mansfield youth productions were so good that they decided to set up a separate contest for youth theater, OCTA Junior. So the fact of the matter is that the Mansfield Youth Theater does not need the Mansfield Playhouse anymore, but the Mansfield Playhouse desperately needs the youth theater. And despite this fact, they treat them like crap. And it's part of this prevailing attitude that has always pissed me off, that children are less than adults simply by virtue of being children. And so that is my rant for this Monday. Tomorrow's video will definitely be a Question Tuesday video, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.